here is something that may shock you. The spending decisions you make in your 20s will determine whether you spend your 30s building wealth or whether you keep living paycheck to paycheck in an endless financial loop until retirement, when it is already too late. Have you ever noticed something quite interesting? A lot of people in their 20s spend money on things that make them look richer. The latest phone, a new car, designer goods, expensive vacations. But after 10 to 15 years, their bank accounts have barely improved. Meanwhile, there is another group of people, the future millionaires in their 20s, who do the exact opposite. They buy older phones instead of new ones, drive used cars, hunt for discounted items, travel on a budget, and spend most of their money on something that very few people show off on social media: investment assets. And the interesting part is, the very things they buy in their 20s quietly determine whether they become wealthy by the time they are 40. In this video, we are going to talk about the humble but incredibly powerful things that, if you buy them in your 20s, can help you build a financial future that many people only realize when it is already too late. My name is Sophia, and I have read many books and spent far too much time thinking about and analyzing why some people escape the personal finance trap and retire comfortably with millions of dollars, while others stay trapped in that financial cycle for life. Today, we are going to talk about 10 spending choices that can completely change your financial trajectory. Expense number one: invest in knowledge, not hundreds of thousands of dollars. When people hear the word education, they often immediately think of very large expenses: a college degree costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, a master's degree, or expensive get-rich courses online. In reality, the educational investments that help you become wealthy in the long run are usually much simpler and much more practical. It means investing in knowledge that helps you understand how money works in real life. For example, one of the small but extremely valuable investments is books. A personal finance book may only cost a few dozen dollars, but it can teach you principles that completely change the way you use money: how to budget, how to spend less than you earn, how to invest for the long term, and how to make money start producing more money. A person who understands compound interest and long-term investing at age 22 can start investing 10 years earlier than someone who only realizes that at age 32. And that 10-year difference alone can create a gap of hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. Financial education also includes learning how to consume wisely. You learn how to distinguish between things that bring long-term value and things that only bring short-term pleasure. For example, buying an older generation phone at a lower price, choosing a used car instead of a new one, or knowing how to hunt for good quality discounted items. Those small decisions can help you save thousands of dollars every year. In addition, one of the most important educational investments is investing in professional knowledge related to the work you already do. If you are a programmer, learning another programming language can help increase your income. If you work in marketing, understanding data and analytics more deeply can help you get promoted faster. If you are in business, learning more about management, sales, or negotiation can help you create more value. Just increasing your income by a few $1,000s a year can have an impact of hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars over a 20 to 30-year career. The important thing to remember is this: the right knowledge will change how you earn money, how you keep money, and how you invest money. So, in your 20s, one of the smartest expenses is not the things that make you look richer. It is the expenses that make you smarter about money. Because when you truly understand how money works, you will not only earn more, you will also keep more and make your money grow for many years afterward. Expense number two: invest in building a side hustle. In your 20s, the income from your main job is often still quite limited. That is why one of the smartest ways to improve your finances is to build a second source of income. A side hustle can begin with very simple skills: freelancing, design, writing content, editing videos, selling online, tutoring, offering small services, or any skill you can turn into value for someone else. It can create extra income for you. The important thing is that a side hustle helps you avoid depending entirely on one single source of income. If your main job runs into difficulty, you still have another stream of income to support you. And if the side hustle develops well, it could even become a larger source of income than your main job in the future. Besides the money, a side hustle also helps you learn many practical skills, such as communicating with clients, time management, marketing, sales, and personal financial management. These are skills that are often very hard to learn from books alone, but they are extremely valuable in life. For example, if a side hustle helps you earn an extra $300 to $500 per month, that money can be used for long-term investing. If you invest that amount consistently for many years, it can grow into a very significant asset thanks to the power of compound interest. So, in your 20s, investing in a side hustle is not only about making more money right now, it is also a way to expand your financial opportunities in the future. Do not chase high return, get rich quick schemes. Use what you already have, what you love, and what your strengths are. That will create sustainable income for you. Expense number 3, long term investing and index funds. This may be one of the most important investments you can start in your 20s, because when it comes to building long term wealth, the most powerful factor is not picking the right stock. It is time and consistency. Index funds are funds that track the entire market, such as the S&P 500 or Nasdaq. Instead of trying to pick individual stocks, you simply invest steadily into these funds and let the economy and the market grow over time. What makes this investment special is the power of compound interest. For example, if you start at age 20 and invest $300 per month into an index fund with an average return of about 8% per year, and you keep doing that consistently until age 65, then after 45 years, you could have around $1.4 million. What is remarkable is that the total amount you actually contributed would only be about $162,000, $300 per month for 45 years. The rest, more than $1.2 million, comes from compound interest and market growth. This is exactly why many financial experts say the most important thing in investing is not how much money you invest, but how early you start. At age 20, the amount you invest in index funds may not look very impressive, but over time, it can become one of the most valuable financial decisions of your life. Expense number 4, buy real estate when you can. Real estate has long been considered one of the assets that helps many people build sustainable wealth. In the United States, over the long term, home prices usually rise about 3 to 5% per year, and in many fast-growing areas, the increase can be even higher. That means over time, the value of a home tends to rise along with economic growth, population growth, and housing demand. Besides appreciating over time, real estate also offers another major advantage: financial leverage. You do not need to have the full purchase price up front. For example, if a house costs $300,000, you may only need a 10% to 20% down payment and borrow the rest from the bank. If after many years that house rises to $400,000, that increase in value still belongs to you, even though you only put in a relatively small amount of capital at the beginning. Another benefit of real estate is its ability to create cash flow. Many people buy a home and both live in it and rent part of it out. For example, they buy a house with multiple rooms, live in one room, and rent out the others. The rental income can help cover part or even all of the mortgage. In addition, there are certain times when buying real estate is especially attractive, such as when mortgage interest rates are low, which can significantly reduce interest costs over many years. Or when the real estate market is falling or slowing down, you may find homes at more reasonable prices. The important thing is that real estate is usually not a quick, rich investment, but if you buy it at the right time and hold it for the long term, It can become a very stable asset that both gives you a place to live and helps your wealth grow over time. Expense number 5, build an emergency fund. An emergency fund is one of the most important foundations of personal finance. Yet it is something many people ignore when they are young. This is money kept separate for unexpected situations such as job loss, illness, car repairs, home repairs, or urgent expenses in life. The biggest role of an emergency fund is to protect you from financial shocks. When something goes wrong, if you do not have emergency savings, you may be forced to take on high interest debt, withdraw investments, or sell assets at the wrong time. That can destroy the financial plan you have spent years building. On the other hand, when you have a sufficiently large emergency fund, you have time and peace of mind to deal with the problem instead of making rushed financial decisions. Normally, financial experts recommend that an emergency fund should cover about 3 to 6 months of living expenses. For example, if you need about $3,000 per month for housing, food, transportation, and other expenses, then your emergency fund should be around $9,000 to $18,000. This money is usually kept somewhere safe and easy to access, such as a savings account or a highly liquid cash account, instead of being invested in highly volatile assets. An emergency fund may not be the money that makes you rich quickly, but it is the financial cushion that protects your life, protects your investments, and keeps your long-term financial plan from being interrupted. Expense number 6, spend on health. In your 20s, many people think health is something automatic. You can work long hours, stay up late, eat irregularly, and still feel like everything is fine. But over time, if you do not take proper care of your body, those small habits can lead to expensive health problems and major disruptions in your life. Health is actually the foundational asset behind every financial success. Because no matter how many investment plans you have or how many career opportunities you get, everything depends on whether you're healthy enough to work and enjoy life. When your health goes wrong, costs can rise very quickly. A medical treatment, a surgery, or even just a chronic condition that requires long-term monitoring can cost you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. In addition to medical costs, you may also face reduced or interrupted income if you need to stop working for an extended period. For example, if you have to take several months off work for treatment, not only do medical costs rise, but your monthly cash flow is also affected, while living costs such as rent, food, and bills continue. So spending on health is not a waste. It could mean spending on exercise, healthy eating, regular health checkups, health insurance, or building a balanced lifestyle. These expenses may not bring immediate financial returns, but they help you maintain energy, preserve your ability to work, and avoid major medical costs in the future. Put simply, good health does not just help you live longer, it also gives you enough time and ability to build wealth. Expense number 7, buy a used car that is still in good condition. In your 20s, many people dream of buying a brand new car. But in reality, a new car is one of the fastest depreciating assets. The moment you drive it out of the showroom, it can lose 15 to 20% of its value immediately. And in the first few years, the depreciation can reach 40 to 50%. Meanwhile, if you buy a used car that is still in good condition, most of that depreciation has already happened before you buy it. This allows you to pay less money for the same transportation function. For example, a new car may cost around $30,000. After 3 to 4 years, that same car may only be worth around $18,000 to $20,000. If you buy it at that point, you could save around $10,000 to $12,000 compared to buying it new. If that saved money were invested in index funds at an average return of about 8% per year, after a few decades, it could become a very large amount thanks to compound interest. Also, when choosing a car, one very important factor is fuel efficiency. A fuel-efficient car can significantly reduce your operating costs over many years. For example, if one car uses 8 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers, while another uses 12 liters per 100 kilometers, and you drive about 15,000 kilometers per year, then the less fuel efficient car could cost you an extra $600 to $800 per year in gas alone, depending on fuel prices. Over 10 years of ownership, that difference could add up to $6,000 to $8,000 just in fuel costs. So a used car that is still reliable and fuel efficient not only helps reduce the purchase cost at the beginning, but also helps you save operating costs for many years. And sometimes, decisions that seem very small like this are exactly what help you keep more money to invest and build wealth over the long term. Expense number 8, spend on planned travel. Travel is one of the most valuable experiences when you are young. It helps you expand your perspective, explore the world, and create unforgettable memories. But the important thing is that travel should be planned in advance instead of being spontaneous trips that make costs rise sharply. When you plan early, you can often get much cheaper airfare. For example, a flight booked a few months in advance may cost only around $150 to $200, while booking close to the departure date may cost $400 to $500 for the exact same trip. It is not only airfare. Booking hotels or accommodations in advance also helps you save significantly. Travel platforms often offer better prices when you book early, and you have more choices instead of being left with only the expensive options at the last minute. In addition, when you have a clear plan, you can also estimate food, transportation, and entrance fee costs ahead of time. That helps prevent overspending during the trip. For example, if you plan a vacation with a budget of $800, you can clearly allocate that amount among airfare, hotel, food, and activities. But if you travel without a plan, total costs can easily rise to $1,200 or $1,500 without you even noticing. So travel is not something that automatically makes you poorer. On the contrary, planned travel helps you enjoy life while still controlling your finances, so you can have memorable experiences without destroying your long term savings and investing plan. Expense number 9, smart consumption. One of the most important financial skills that wealthy people often have is not just earning a lot of money, it is knowing how to spend money wisely. Smart consumption does not mean living too frugally or rejecting every joy in life. Instead, it simply means spending with awareness and planning so that every dollar you spend brings real value. One of the easiest ways is to shop with a plan. Instead of buying things impulsively, you make a list of the things you truly need and wait for the right time to buy them. That helps you avoid a lot of emotional spending. In addition, buying discounted items or hunting for promotions can also save you a significant amount of money. Many high quality products are sold at lower prices during seasonal discounts or large promotional events. Another smart consumption habit is comparing prices before buying. Just spending a few minutes checking prices at different stores or across different platforms can save you a noticeable amount of money. Many people also apply the rule of waiting 24 hours or a few days before buying an expensive item. That waiting period helps you think more carefully about whether it is something you truly need or just an emotional purchase. These small habits may not create a huge difference in one day or one week, but over many years, smart consumption can help you keep thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, money that you can then use to save, invest, and build long-term wealth. Expense number 10, spend on building your professional network. One of the invisible but extremely valuable assets for your financial future is your network. When they are young, many people focus only on studying and working, but forget that many opportunities in life come from the people you know. Networking does not mean making friends for selfish reasons or just having superficial conversations. It is the process of building quality relationships with people in the same field, with similar goals, or with more experience than you. There are many simple ways to start building a network. You can attend professional conferences, industry events, meetups, learning communities, or career groups. These are often places where you meet people working in the field you are interested in. Sometimes networking can also begin with very small things like a coffee meeting, a lunch, or a short conversation with someone more experienced than you. These conversations can teach you practical lessons that books cannot. The benefits of networking usually do not appear immediately, but over time, they can create major opportunities. Someone you know may introduce you to a better job, connect you with a new project, or become a partner in a future business opportunity. Many successful people often say their best career opportunities did not come from submitting job applications, but from the relationships they built over many years. In addition, your network also helps you access new knowledge and perspectives. When you regularly talk to talented people in your field, you learn how they think, how they solve problems, and how they build their careers. Small expenses such as conference tickets, membership fees for professional communities, or coffee meetings with people in your industry may not look like much. But in the long run, the relationships you build can open financial and career opportunities that you cannot measure at the beginning. Because in life, sometimes the most valuable asset is not what you own, but the people you know. When they are young, many people think that to become wealthy, you need to earn a lot of money. But in reality, the big difference usually lies in how you use your money. Some expenses make your money disappear very quickly, but there are also expenses like education, skills, long term investing, health, relationships, and the right assets that can quietly create value for many years. The interesting thing is that most expenses that help you become wealthy are not flashy. They are not the newest car, the newest phone, or expensive things to show off to other people. Instead, they are humble but smart financial decisions repeated over many years. If in your 20s you start spending money on knowledge, a side hustle, long term investing, an emergency fund, health, sensible assets, and relationships, then you are building a very strong financial foundation for the future. Because wealth rarely comes from one single big decision. It usually comes from small but correct decisions repeated over decades. And sometimes, the smart expenses you begin making today may be exactly the reason why your financial life at age 40 or 50 looks completely different. These are the lessons I have drawn from my own journey. I'm Sophia, and I hope I can help guide you on the path to success. I may have missed something, so I would love to receive your comments and suggestions so we can improve together. The content of this video is for reference and knowledge sharing purposes only and is not financial investment advice. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to motivate me to create more content.